Hello, I'm Jay Nauman with ATD Utah, and today I'm going to show you how to print out name tags for a monthly event or for the conference, and kind of the same way, no matter what you're doing. So we're going to use three different programs. We're going to use the ATD website, we're going to use Excel, and we're going to use a program called Design and Print by Avery Labels to do those. So to start out, go to the ATD website, log in as an administrator, and go to your admin view. I apologize for the delays as these come up. All right. A couple of ways you can get to the monthly event. You can click on it right here, or you can click on Events and Event List. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can see here's the January event. That's the one I want to print out for. So I'm going to click on that, and that'll open up the event. One of the first things I want to do is go to your registrants, and you can order those by the date they registered or the type of registration or by name. Make sure that's done by name. That way they're already in alphabetical order. Okay, now before we print name tags, another report that's nice to run while you're right here, the day of the event, is the attendee list. So I'm going to click on that. And here's the attendee list in alphabetical order. This is good to have at the sign-in desk. You can just check people off, and then you can go back and put them in Wild Apricot that they attended, or you can use the handy dandy Wild Apricot app to check people in. And as really as all you're doing is checking these boxes here. But this one will also tell you if someone owes money when they're coming. So like here, Doug Gross from Lexington Law Firm has not paid yet, so he still owes us $30 at the day of the event. So you just export that as a PDF and then print it. Okay, let's go back to exporting the names to make the name tags. So we've got them in alphabetical order, and if I hit Export Registrants, it pulls up all these fields. You can use them all or some of them for the name tags. The only ones I select are first name, last name, organization, and whether they're a member or not. And then I click Export. It's a pretty quick download, so it's not a big deal. But it will send you an email telling you that it exported the file, and the file should show up right here. Okay? So with that, we are done with using Wild Apricot. We'll now move on to Excel. So I opened that CVS file we downloaded into Excel, and one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand out the columns so they're easier to see. And the reason we bring this up is there's a couple of things you can do from here. First thing I recommend, just to save on money and stuff, is delete anyone who's a member. Not a member, that would be bad, but on the board. So like Sarah Vandermolen's on the board, so I'm going to delete her. Kathy Smith is on the board, so I'm going to delete Kathy. Bill Herdesey's on the board, I'm going to delete Bill. Now, one of the things you also notice is even though I sorted that earlier for the other report, they're not in alphabetical order here, and that's kind of a problem. But we're in Excel, so that's easy to fix, right? I'm just going to go in and sort my data. I've got a header row, sort by first name. Okay, now they're all sorted again. You really want these in alphabetical order, especially if you have a big thing like the conference. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is right here we've got whether they're members or not members. There's a couple of ways you can fix that. Everyone who's no, you can just delete like that. And then the other thing I like to do is there's a couple of different ways to do this, like there's many. I'm going to go and do find and replace. Let me drag that in here so you can see it. I'm going to find yes, and if it says yes, I'm going to replace with member. And I'll do a replace all, and it made 11 replacements. That's exciting. So now these people are members, and we know who they are. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. I'm going to save that file, but I'm going to do a save as, because I find the next program much prefers an Excel file over a CVS or a text base. So I'm just going to go up and save it as an Excel, leave it at the same name, and click Save. So that's all I need to do in Excel. I'm done with Excel. We'll move on to the next program. So the last program we're going to use is called Design and Print. It's free from the Avery Label Company. You can download it from avery.com. There's other programs that do this as well too, but I find this one's pretty easy. You can actually create an account and save your stuff. You can save them on your desktop, but I'm going to start this one from scratch. You can see it from scratch. First thing you want to do is put in the number from the labels that you bought. So we're using white adhesive name badges, and they are Avery number 8395. I put that in. It'll bring up just the name badges. There's some pre-ones here. I like just starting with a blank template. I'll double click that, and that's going to open it up. All right, I'm going to start by adding a text box, and this is the text box that we're going to have everybody's first name. So what you like in a conference or a meeting is you want to be able to see everybody's first name really big. So if we click on the box there, we can take it all the way up to like 40. Let's try 40. Okay, I'm going to expand that box out from side to side just to make sure that everybody's names will fit. And you can see whatever I do on this one is happening on all the others. The next step is I'm going to mail merge this box. So I'm going to start a mail merge, and I'm going to browse for the file. Here's the file that we used. I have it downloaded on my system, so I'm going to double click that one. That's the one we just went and created in Excel. And here's everybody who's coming to the event. Looks like I could have taken Christian off too. He's also on the board. I'll unclick this first box, because otherwise you'll end up with a name tag that says first name, last name, organization number. It's a waste of name tags. Then I click next. The first one, and now you could do all these together, but I'm going to put just the first name on. But you'll see that you could do multiple lines, and you can do multiple things on the same line. But I find that that causes issues. Formatting, it's easier to do one per line. So I just want first name on this one. I click mail merge, and you see now we have Christian here and everybody else's names. And we should have waited to format, it looks like. Okay, so that's good to know. Scroll down here, make that a 40, and I'll center it. And then there we go. So you can see that Christian's name is right up there big and bold where everyone can read it, and you can see that each of these different tags has a different name on it. So I'm going to add another text block. They always show up at the top. I can drag that back down. I'm going to click another mail merge, and this time I want their full name. So there's first name, last name. If I put them both like that, then they'll come together like that right here. So now we have Christian's full name. I'm going to go ahead and center that, and once again I'm going to make the box big enough that it can use the whole sheet if needed. And we'll adjust that up a little bit. And so now you can see we've got everybody's first name and their full name. Next thing we're going to add is another text box. Grab that, drag it down. This one's going to be company name, so I go to mail merge again. I'm going to bring in the organization, complete mail merge. Now, Christian works for a very short-named company, Solar City, so that's not a problem, but we have some very long ones too. So my recommendation here is to make this one fairly small. I'd go down to at least 12 point with that, and we still may have some that are bigger than that. So we've got a first name, last name, where they work, and then just for the board's sake, so we know who's members and who's not, and who we can hit up to join our organization, I'm going to add another text box. And drag that one down and do another mail merge. And this time I'm going to drag in the member field. So now what it's going to do is it's going to print member on everyone who is a member. You'll see some of these are blank, like Kurt over here is blank. This isn't a big deal, it's just for the board, so you can go ahead and shrink that down to be very, very small. Okay, it's not a big deal, it doesn't affect registration or anything, it's just so the board knows who's members and who's not, and we can hit them up. The last thing I want to do to make sure that everything looks good and it looks professional, it looks like we're a real organization, which we are, is I would like to add a graphic. So I'm going to pull in an image from my computer. These graphics are on the shared drive of the ATD of our Google Docs system, but these are downloaded on my computer. I'm going to do this one right here, and I'm going to put that down in the bottom, and that'll print up black and white, and it will make it look good. So we can go to the next page, which is the preview, now that we're all done. And so we've got all these individual ones. I know which ones are members and which ones are not. If there's something that doesn't look right, I can go back and make a change and I'll fix it for all of them. But you can see they're all looking pretty good here. Let's check the last one. Everybody looks good. From there, you can click the print button. I like to print out one first on paper, and then I hold it up to the back of the labels, up to the light, so I can see that everything's lined up. If everything looks good, then I throw the actual labels into the printer and print them out. So that's how you print labels for ATD Events.